So the comic that I read for this month was Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan, who is the writer, and it was a collaboration between him, Cliff Chiang, who is the artist, Matt Wilson, the colorist, and Jared K. Fletcher, the letterist or letterer. It's an Image property, so it was published by Image Comics. Um, it's about 141 pages of actual comic. It is not a it wouldn't be considered a graphic novel because it is a compilation of all of the earlier issues of Paper Girl put into one book. As you can see, they break it down um, into sections, and you will have like short pauses with some graphic art to separate when the actual issues are. So like this and this right here separates an issue. There's a couple of scenes like that. Basically, the first act, I would say, obviously starts on the first page, but it ends about 40 pages in when the girls, or the main characters in the series, find what they believe to be some kind of alien craft or possibly a time machine. Is when they, I would believe, when the first. Actually, no, correction. The first act actually ends when the girls find a device that they believe is from the future. I think it ends on a splash page. Yes, this would be the ending. Basically, the story revolves around the four main characters, the titular Paper Girls, and they are basically, I think they're in their 11s, 12 maybe, and they basically are delivering newspapers as local youths do. When this really focuses around the new girl, her name is what was her name? I think it's Erin. She's got an Asian last name, so forgive me for not saying it right. But Erin is a paper girl, and she usually delivers on her route alone. It just so happens that on the specific day they refer to as Hell Day, she runs into three other girls in her neighborhood that are also delivering the paper, and the three girls invite her to go along with them after they see her getting picked on by some older teenagers. This is that scene right there. After getting with the three girls, they all travel together, and they keep encountering strange people throughout the night, and leading them into this huge plot involving time travelers and other strange encounters with people from the past and from the future. They are even sent through time at different points, where Erin ends up meeting her future self. They encounter people riding dinosaurs. It's a lot of craziness. I would say that it definitely doesn't. It does not follow like the mini comic thing where each page could be its own mini comic, because this is heavily tied into the overall story. So each page or panel could really not make sense if you don't understand the overall story. The transitions, I think, are really good. They're really engaging, and I think actually some of my favorite things is the way they make use of the gutters. For example, in this scene, she's throwing the newspaper. I don't know if you guys can see it, but she's throwing the newspaper, and the newspaper actually flies off into the gutters to like represent it being tossed out. I like things like that. I think it's really clever. It moves fast. It never really feels slow, and it's got a good pace to it. But yeah, I think it's mainly the reason that it doesn't follow the mini comic thing is because of the time travel, and any story with time travel immediately becomes convoluted and like hard to like it becomes more of a long form thing. Basically, I would definitely recommend this because Brian K. Vaughan is one of my favorite writers, especially for comics. Like he always tells a really, really like engaging and good story. And if you like Stranger Things, this is kind of like right up your alley. It's got that Stranger Things kind of feel where it takes place in the past, but it also takes place in the future. So it's like interesting. It's a contrast. It's more like a sci-fi, more than like the paranormal fantasy of Stranger Things. But I would definitely recommend it, and I would suggest everybody check out at least one comic by Brian K. Vaughan because he rarely disappoints. But yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. It's really good. The art's fantastic. Characters are really likable, and they all have really good arcs, and they're all really like relatable. Like one of the characters, she sees into the future, and she sees into her past to realize that she spent the majority of her life playing video games, which causes like a really shock of a revelation to her, where she's like, "Wow, I kind of wasted the earlier years of my life." So I don't know. It's really deep. It's got really deep concepts in it. It's kind of violent and it can be graphic at times, but great read, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody interested in checking it out.